All right, thank you so much, everyone who has turned up for this call. We're glad to have Jarvis Atuhura, who will be sharing us her journey from being an employee to now becoming an entrepreneur. As you can see, Jarvis is running already a consulting firm, most focused on agriculture, but she also has Josh and Associates, which she runs. So maybe for those that may not know Jarvis, I'll just share that I've known Jarvis from her YouTube channel. That's the first time I think I came across her. Where she shares a lot very good for her to share with us. She has quite a great experience. She's a qualified CPA. She's currently, of course, as you've seen, a managing partner at Josh and Associates. She's also a managing director at Legacy Agricultural Consultants. She has worked in employment at and Associates and assistant. And she also has a bachelor's of vocational studies in agriculture, has her first degree with quite a lot of experiences and quite a lot of things that she's doing. She's been able to mix agriculture with accounting, something that would love to know how she's been able to do it. So ladies and gentlemen, at Hura, Jarvis, you're most.
Thank you so much, Coach Samuel. I appreciate for all this opportunity granted. I am Jarvis Atuhura Birungi, a certified public accountant and also an agriculturalist by profession. I am the CEO and founder of Legacy Agricultural Consultants and also a managing partner at Josh and Associates. I blend these two worlds of agriculture and accounting to offer consultancy services to commercial farmers and agribusinesses. Today, I'll be sharing with you how I managed to transition from employment to building a consulting business from scratch. The key practical lessons that I picked along the way, the challenges, and how I've managed to run this business to date. I'll start with my journey. Can I request for the next slide? Yeah, thank you so much, Carol. Carol happens to also be my OG. Yeah, thank you. So my journey of how I transitioned from employment to entrepreneurship. My story began way back when I was still employed as a teacher. Yeah, some of the things Samuel didn't say is that I'm also a qualified teacher, by the way. I used to teach in one of the prominent secondary schools in Uganda. Yeah, I enjoyed my work while there, interacting with those young, growing minds, taking them for the different farm work. In so doing, I started getting passion for agriculture. And along the way, I started feeling that there was something missing. I needed to impact directly onto the agricultural sector, something that had started becoming so passionate about. Well, I remember then I started looking out for opportunities elsewhere in the agricultural entities like NGOs, with the hope that if I'm granted an opportunity to work in there, I would directly work with the farmers. However, it didn't work out as I thought. I got rejections. Yeah, I remember one of the most painful rejections that I got was I applied in one of these big NGOs. We had we started the written interviews, which I passed well. We went in for the oral interviews. and I believe I had performed them so well. However, one of the people that was on that interview panel said it directly to my face that, hey, Jarvis, we are sorry we can't work with you because you have good papers. Honestly, I am not lying about this. That broke me. I mean, when we were in school, we're told work so hard, have good papers so that you attract better employers. And then there I was being rejected because I had good papers. It really demoralized me. And it was from that point that I promised to myself that I will not look for a job again. Yeah, because I was not ready for more rejections of a kind, rejections that weren't really justifiable. Anyway, along the way, I remember I had one of my friends, we were having a coffee on one of the weekends. She was working in one of the big seed companies, and we were just having a casual talk. So she asked me, oh, Jarvis, you said you studied agriculture. I was like, yes, I did. So like, you God, we are looking out for someone, a female agronomist for a contract of 3 months. I told her, okay, I'm here. Remember, I'd said I would not look for jobs. Now he was offering myself. She was like, bring your papers. I told her if I'm going to be rejected again, then this is not something for me. I took my papers. Of course, she was not in the position of making decisions. For her, she was in another department, but she told me to try my luck, which I tried. I took my papers there the following day, which was a Monday. Upon dropping them, the HR told me, Jarvis, we shall call you in case there are opportunities. Deep in my heart, I was like, okay, another rejection. So as I was sloping down the stairs, one of the people came running after me. Hey, she was like, you're being called up here. I went back. I thought maybe I'd forgotten something. And I was told the managing director wants to talk to me. I went to talk to him, and he told me, I've gone through your papers and I feel you're a perfect suit for this position. Are you available? Can you give us 2 days in a week? Honestly, it was like a miracle on my side. But at that time, I was not looking for money, but I was looking for that penetration into the agricultural world where I could easily work with the farmers directly. So I told him, yes, I have the 2 days. Remember, in my job where I had some free time. My timetable was not so fixed, so I could get some days when I was free. I gave them the days, and the contract was meant for 3 months. In that period, I had so many clients. I had farmers coming to my office. Of course, since it was a seed company, we were dealing with farmers as clients. They would come to my office, but the questions they would ask, to me, they were so obvious. I was like, so people are asking, someone would ask, how do I plant my maize? What do I go about with this? To me, it was so obvious. This is what I was teaching my girls in class. And then someone is asking, is totally green about this. So it's at that point that I started identifying a gap. I started realizing that, hey, there is a gap out there. These farmers, they have the money to invest, but they don't know what to do. So I thought, what can I do to get in touch with them and keep giving them advice? That's when I thought of a consultancy firm. Yes, eventually the 3 months contract got done. So I thought of starting up a consultants business. I remember I shared that idea with one of my closest friends that, hey, I'm going to start up a consultancy business for agriculture. He told me, Jarvis, that is really not possible in Uganda. You're young. By then, I remember I was so young. I was 26, and I'm having such an idea. He told me, you know what? Those consultancies are done by people who have retired, people who are old, people who have those big experiences with PhDs and so on. But then here you are, you only have a bachelor's and you're thinking of a consultancy. Will it even work? It's not possible. That's what he told me. Of course, that made me think twice about it. In reality, I also saw that it was as if something that wasn't possible. I remember I now went to Google Yeah, I asked Google, what does it need me to start a consulting business for agriculture? Google plainly told me all I needed were skills, a computer, and a phone. I was like, okay, I have my computer, I have my phone, I have my skills. Then it went ahead to tell me you will need to register legally and get an address, and then also you need a client. So I didn't have the address and the client. So I worked on the address first. What they meant by address was you have to register legally. So I thought of a name and registered Legacy Agricultural Consultants. So I had my certificate with me. So now I was left with the main part of a client. So I thought, where am I going to get from a client in the first place? Who's going to believe in what I'm even going to tell them? I had all those kinds of doubts at the start, but I had a determination within me and a vision. I had to make this work out. I remember how I met my first client. I was scrolling through my Facebook. Yes, back then where Facebook was still working so well in Uganda. As I scrolled through, it was just a weekend, I was just scrolling through randomly, like they scroll through social media. I landed on a flyer, and that flyer was calling upon farmers for farm training. There was a farmer who had prepared a training at the farm in animal production. So I knew now this place is going to collect farmers, my target clients. I decided to call the numbers on that flyer. I didn't know the person. I didn't have any idea of where the farm was. So I called. I introduced myself and explained the services I do. So by then, I knew if I say I'm starting, that kind of language wouldn't take me anywhere. I knew I had to sound like, yes, I'm doing these services. And I remember he told me, I'll give you 5 minutes of the session and you talk about your services. If you are able to convince these farmers, well, and also, I'll give you 5 minutes. That was enough for me. I remember it was around a Wednesday, and this training was going to take place on a Saturday. I used my Thursday and Friday to prepare myself for those 5 minutes. I got my business cards ready, and I made flyers, and then I pitched out my speech on for those 5 minutes. On the day, I was given my 5 minutes. And I remember before I could finish the 5 minutes, farmers were asking for my business cards. To me, that was a clear indication that I am on the right track. I gave out those cards. And then after the session, one of the farmers called me aside and told me, Jarvis, I'm interested in your services. Can you offer them to my farm? Are you available? To me, that was a win. I even didn't care whether this person was willing to pay or not. Personally, I was just looking out at now I've got my client. We made an appointment and an arrangement. I went to the farm. Of course, he paid for the services. At that point, all I looked at was to deliver the best, to deliver to the person's expectations, so that he could refer me to the next client. So that is how I was able to meet my very first client. It wasn't through any connection or anything, as the saying of late goes. I just used the available resources that I had and went ahead to contact out a random number that I met. Of course, I started small. It's not that I rushed to drop my job. I kept along balancing my job, and now this was like a side hustle to me. I would use the weekends for field visits. And by the way, that client that I had as my first client, after a week, I got another call of a person saying, this person has given me your number, that you have given him good services at his farm. Are you available to also offer the same at my farm? Oh, so I came to realize that this is going to be like a chain of referrals. You just have to deliver the best, on that particular client you have so that you're referred to the next. I joined the different farmer groups. I kept on talking about my different services, shared my flyers on those groups, and farmers would come through and I would deliver. I would actually deliver to the best that I could and exceed the expectations. Eventually, that clientele base started growing. And I reached a point whereby it was becoming so heavy for me now to balance my current job alongside my clientele, because now I was having clients who wanted me even during the weekdays to be at their farms. And as a starter, I couldn't say no because that would show I'm not available. So I had now to make a tough decision, which was to resign from my job and give 100% to my consultancy business. The truth is, this decision was so scary at first. Even me myself, I didn't know what it could come with the next because I wasn't so sure, but I kept on sticking to my vision and having the faith that it will work. I kept working along with these few clients that I had along the way to have them refer me to the next client. Carol, I request for the next slide. So, how did I get to find my niche? When I started out, I wanted to do everything: the agronomy, the animal advisory, the marketing. I wanted to do each and everything and be everywhere. And actually, I thought every farmer would be my client. But I quickly came to realize that I can't be everywhere and I can't do everything because clients would not know what exactly to come for from me. So that's when I thought of specializing in a particular area. I took time to reflect on my strengths, on something that I felt most confident with. And me as Jarvis, I have always loved figures. So I found myself lying on the side of the financials, the figures. For those that know the agriculture, we have that agricultural economics. So I was more confident in that area, whereby you do the profit analysis. So that's when I decided now to specialize into farm accounting, do the records management, and also do the profitability analysis. Of course, at that time, I was using my knowledge from the agricultural economics, and I would be able to get out this, give the advice on the records, prepare those templates, and everything was now starting to make sense. I now got a better vision. And the mission that I got then was now to help commercial farmers to run efficient, profitable, and sustainable farms. Why this focus was so much important, it helped me to build my expertise deeply in that particular area. So as you plan to do your consultancy or do any business, you will need to specialize in a particular area. In that way, you're able to attract the right clients and also reduce on the confusion of you being everywhere, because honestly, you can't be everywhere and you can't provide services to each and everyone. So that's when I narrowed down that now the clients that I was going to target were mainly commercial farmers, because I knew it's only commercial farmers who would need my services. Can I request for the next slide? So along the way, how did I build my business? Carol, next slide, please. Just like many entrepreneurs out there, I honestly didn't start with so much capital. I didn't have a big funder or so much capital. All I started with was the knowledge that I had, the skills that I had at that moment with my bachelor's, and the determination to create a change or an impact on farmers. I relied on my strength as the skills that I had. I didn't focus on what I didn't have because that would definitely demoralize me. So I focused on what I had. And then I was able to start building now a reputation. Building a reputation in consultancy is very key because this is going to be your currency. A reputation is built in a way that you deliver exceptional results and exceed the client's expectations. By that time, I used not to mind whether the pay was small, but I had to prove my worth. I just concentrated on delivering the best so that the clients would gain trust in whatever I was doing. And definitely when that trust was built, these clients became my promoters, referring me to others. And that's how my clientele base grew. I also kept my costs low. I will tell you the fact that when I was starting this consulting business, I didn't have an office. I used to work from home. My dining table was my office. I would simply go to my computer, prepare these templates, do the assignments, and then move to the fields. I knew I could not afford office rent at that time, so I couldn't get that cost onto myself. Also, when I was starting, I knew I couldn't afford paying salaries monthly. So I knew I couldn't bring up a team right away. I had to first build up and work on all this by myself and build up until the clientele base grew. So if you're looking at building a business, you'll have to avoid those unnecessary expenses. I had to develop financial discipline. It was at that point that after I had resigned, that I came to realize that now this consulting business is my sole income source. In whatever I do, I had to have financial discipline, manage the little money that I had to run that business, and also be able to get something to cater for my personal needs. So financial discipline had to be top notch. And also I had to maintain client relationships. What I mean by client relationships, in consulting, this consulting business, most clients, okay, for my case, they're farmers, they buy trust first before even they pay for your service. So they want to work with someone whom they know is available. In other words, I had to stay in touch. I had to keep obtaining feedback from these clients, irrespective of whether it was positive or negative. And actually, I have always concentrated on picking that negative feedback because it's from that negative feedback that I'm able to know where I need to put more effort. I keep asking for honest feedback from my clients, and they do give it to me. I keep following up with the projects. As I recommend, I give the consultancy, I go ahead to keep in touch and follow up with these projects. It's not all about just coming to give consultancy, bag your money and go. You have to keep these client relationships because it's these clients who are going to refer you to the next. I also now took my time and invested into learning. It was at this point where I came now to realize I needed accounting knowledge. My clients were starting to demand for deeper services. Someone would tell you, Jarvis, I need you to develop me a bankable business proposal. I want us to assess whether this project is viable. I want you to do this financial analysis, prepare me these financial statements. This was now becoming something that was bigger for just the cultural economics that I had. So I had to seek out for deeper accounting knowledge. That's when I decided to enroll for CPA. I remember so well when I was enrolling for this CPA, the people around me, they really looked at me as crazy. It really sounded so crazy. Everyone was asking, You are into agriculture. Why are you going into CPA? Isn't CPA for accountants? What are you looking for from that side? When you enter into this entrepreneurship, trust me, there's a point where you're going to look crazy to other people simply because they don't understand what you're doing. Because you yourself, you're the vision bearer, you know what you're looking out for. So for me, I knew the challenges that were coming on board, the tasks that were being brought to my table needed a deeper understanding of accounting. And I couldn't just sit back and look on or keep outsourcing. Actually, I tried outsourcing, but it was even more expensive. I would outsource and someone charges even more than what you charge the client. I knew it was not sustainable. So I had to go and root out for deeper understanding of this accounting. Yes, a brief story about my CPA. When I went for this CPA, I remember when I enrolled for it, everyone was telling me it's a hard course. That course is so hard. Will you manage? But yeah, the truth is that course is hard. I looked at the pass rates. They were surely so low. And me being a person from a different background from agriculture, I had never done any economics. I had never done any commerce. Literally, I'd never been into any accounting class. And here I was joining in the CPA. I knew I had to put in extra effort and be determined and stay focused. I was able to do this CPA in a period of 3 years without exemptions and not receipt papers. And then the most amazing part of this CPA was when I came out as the overall best student in my final exam. Honestly, that left so many happy and wondering, including my tutors. They kept on wondering how someone can come from a different background and be able to top this CPA. But all I can say is that I was able to top this CPA, not because I was the brightest, no, but I had the determination and I knew what exactly I was looking for. When I enrolled for this CPA, I was not looking for a paper, maybe to go and apply for a job. I was not looking for getting the qualification to get promoted at my workplace. I was mainly looking for skills in accounting. And that's what I kept on focusing myself at. I remember along the way, I had even to go and enroll as an intern. Just imagine you're a CEO somewhere and now you are an intern in another audit firm. But why I went for that internship, it was not because of anything. I was just looking for now the practical skills because I knew the theory, yes, I've got the theory, but now how will I be able to do the assignments on my desk if I didn't have the practical skills? So that's when I was able to enroll at one of the audit firms where they mentored me. Yes, I would balance now my work this side because I requested for 2 days a week where I would go. And then I would balance off my work this side, study, and also be here for the internship. My main aim was to get the skills. And trust me, I was able to get these skills and they added onto my confidence on how I approach work, how I deal with clients. So from that, that's when I even increased on my portfolio. Remember at the start, I was only offering records keeping, I was doing some farm accounting. But now with this CPA, I was able to get now a deeper and a broad skill. I now added on the taxation onto it. I now became, I would say, a one-stop center for a commercial farmer, whereby when a farmer comes to you, they know you're going to handle their finances, their human resource, their taxation. They started feeling so confident working with me. And definitely that increased my credibility and my clientele base started growing bigger and bigger. And I would say that all showed that I had to stay consistent and persistent. I believe even yourself from hearing this, you can see that all this required persistence. I request for the next slide. So there were definitely so many challenges that I came across during this journey. Just like any business person, the journey was not smooth. There were seasons of doubt. there were seasons of slow progress whereby no client called in. I remember in the COVID-19 era, whereby everything was halted on a lockdown. I couldn't make those farm visits. At that point, my clients who were the farmers, consultancy wasn't a priority to them. They were looking for survival of their assets. Those who had animals, they were concentrating on feeding their animals and keeping them healthy. Consultancy wasn't really something that was on to their top bucket list. So that period, honestly, it really tested my patience and my belief in my vision. But each challenge that I came across, I will say it was a lesson that shaped who I am today. The challenges were the limited capital, that's obvious. I didn't have any funder at the start. I was simply using my savings from my salary at the job that I had back then to do my farm visits. And I was also using the profits that I was getting from this consultancy, and I was cultivating them back into the business to see that this business grows. Honestly, there was a time whereby I didn't even earn anything. I didn't pay myself. But I kept on following my vision. I was just so happy because I was creating impact. To me, that was okay. I was so passionate about it. I knew one time it would pay off. Honestly, it was really tempting at one point to pull back and maybe wait for the time when I have a lot of capital. But I realized progress does not wait for perfect conditions. Then the other major challenge that I got was gaining client trust. Honestly, as a new consulting business and a young person, it was so challenging to have clients trust me at the start. But I had to prove my worth. I had to prove it by delivering exceptional services, exceptional results. I really gave them the best. And it's from these clients that the word started to spread. So then the other thing that again I felt as my challenge was building a reliable team. At first, I did everything by myself. Yes, I was the marketing person, I was the field person, the administrator, the accountant, name it. And trust me, it worked at the start because my clientele base was small. It worked. But as the clientele base started growing, I realized I needed a team. I was challenged in finding people who shared the same vision with me, the same determination, the same work ethic. And I was really so wondering whether these people would really be reliable. That was one of the most challenging things that I met across this journey. And then also staying motivated during those slow seasons. As I said, there were those seasons when there were no clients onboarding, there were no incomes, especially the COVID-19 era. Those moments truly tested my patience. But I kept on sticking to my vision and my passion to sail through those times. Carol, I request for the next slide. From these different challenges, there were so many lessons that I learned along the way. The main key lesson that I learned was to start with what I have and not to focus on what I lack. The truth is resources will always be scarce. That lack of capital, which is said by everyone, is not about to end. It's going to be there. There will never be a time when you will feel that, yes, I'm completely ready. But all I can say is resourcefulness is more powerful than resources. What do I mean by this? Having the right mindset, creativity, and your problem-solving ability are going to help you get these resources that you lack. So as you come into the consulting business or start up any business, have that positive right mindset, have the passion and the vision, have the determination, and use what you have, the skills that you have, the knowledge that you have, the networks that you have. The networks could include even your current employees, your current staff, your fellow staff. Personally, that wasn't my network, because now I was going to a different section. So my current staff weren't really my direct networks, but the people who start up consulting businesses, and your fellow staff can be your first clients. Just use the resources that you have within you. And then get to know that relationships are more important than transactions. I came to realize that reputation is very key as you're into this consulting business. Consultancy is whereby a client is going to give you their money and they're going to pay for a service. A service is not tangible, they can't touch it, but they just trust that you're going to deliver that service. Are you able to keep your word? Are you able to deliver as expected? Are you able to keep following up? Or for you, you're going to be a type who is going to come bag your money and go, irrespective of whether what you recommended works or not? Trust me, if you're coming with such a mindset, it will be so hard for you to get referrals. So I focused on relationships and kept on getting feedback from the clients, doing follow-ups. I kept on in touch with my clients so that we were more of humans working here other than just a consultant to client. Now for me in the farming side, most of my farmers prefer someone who is going to walk the journey with them. Farming is something that is full of uncertainties. They really don't want someone who is going to come, give them advice, do this, do this, do that. And then for you, they give you your money, you vanish and go. They prefer someone who is walking the journey with them. It doesn't mean that you're going to offer free services, but that checkup, a call to that client, how is this project doing? Any challenges you're facing, giving some free advice, even without charging, that is going to build trust from your clients, and they will know you're not just here to bag money, but you're here to see them grow. And that's what most people are looking out for. They want people who are going to grow along with them. And that is one thing that I totally based on, and I have based on throughout my consultancy. And then I came to understand that I had to train a team to own the vision. When the clientele base grew, I knew I needed a strong team. I couldn't build a lasting business without a strong team. I invested into my team, trained them, guided them, trusted them. I empowered my team to own the vision and not just to do tasks. And right now, the team that I have, even if I left my business for a month or 2 months, I am so sure the business can run. I set up the systems, we built systems that each and everyone knows how systems are operating and how the business is operating. But these systems, you don't need to first wait to become a big company. Even as small as you are, set up those systems. Systems are simply like the recording systems, invoicing systems, your HR systems. Let everything be transparent and let people know, let your team know how the system is working. Actually, these systems, when you're dealing with clients, just imagine if you were the client and you paid your money to someone and then someone didn't give you a receipt. Would you really trust such a person in the next transaction? You wouldn't. So build those systems, and then consistency builds credibility. As I've told you, I have gone through different tough times. There were days whereby I had even to keep awake. I'm studying, I'm working, I'm a parent, I'm doing internship, I have a company. Everything is running onto you, but be persistent. The truth is, people are out there seeing. Your clients are seeing. Are you able to stand through those hard times? Or you are a type whereby when the hard times come, you close the business and disappear? Then you will not gain credibility. Carol, the next slide. As I conclude, I would like to give the key takeaways. The key takeaways for you are: start where you are. You don't have to wait for the perfect timing, because that timing will never come. Use the skills that you have, the experience, the network that you have. Then focus on solving real problems. Building your business around real needs and not just trends. Don't just start up a business because someone else is starting. Have a problem that you are solving. People are willing to pay for solutions that work, irrespective of your age, irrespective of your body size or your gender. As long as you're having solutions that are working and are solving a challenge, people will pay for those services. Then build trust and deliver value. In consultancy, as I said, relationships and your networks are going to be your greatest asset. Partnership with people of like minds. Have mentors. Keep collaborating with your fellow entrepreneurs. Don't look at every person as your competitor. No, even if you're in the same business, you can collaborate, learn from each other, have those networks. They will be so important for you in your consulting business. Keep consistent and disciplined. Remember to stay professional in each and everything that you do. People of late prefer to work with professionals. And then lead with integrity and purpose. Stay true to your values. Don't be a person who is taking people's money and you're not delivering. Be true to your values. Be ready to serve people genuinely. And then profits will start following your purpose. As I conclude, I want to tell you that entrepreneurship is not about entrepreneurship is about creating impact. It's not about escaping employment. Yeah, many people think starting a business means freedom from working under someone. Most of you think now I'm free from employment. I can now do whatever I want. I want to tell you that truth on ground is entrepreneurship is actually about serving more people and taking more responsibility. There are going to be days when you're going to keep up even till late. There are going to be days where you won't even have a public holiday. There will be seasons where even you don't have a weekend. Personally, most of my weekends I'm in the field. Maybe if you're thinking of you're just running away from the 9 to 5 job, I want to tell you're going to come into entrepreneurship, which requires you to work. I would say 24 hours, 7 days a week. There is no time for you to get off, especially when you're at the starting level. And then true entrepreneurs don't just build businesses, they create impact. They create opportunities for others. They solve problems. So that is what I can say. But as I want to say this, I want to tell you that there are so many good things that you can find from entrepreneurship. Don't think that it is just about coming in for problems. Personally, entrepreneurship has changed my life, not just financially, but personally and professionally. It has shaped me into a disciplined, patient, and focused person. I am able to create impact. Actually, I love it so much when I design solutions that make a difference at that farm. I find it so fulfilling. I have gained confidence in the way I handle clients, how I manage finances of the business, and I am able to make those bold decisions, something I'm so sure I wouldn't have learned if I stayed in my employment. I have been able to get these meaningful relationships and networks. I have met so many clients, people that I couldn't have met if I stayed at my job. And these people are really guiding me through. They are more of a family. The team that I have, actually, I would say I have a legacy family that I've created from the entrepreneurship. And most of it all, waking up knowing that I'm doing something that matters, it gives me purpose and fulfillment. And that's what I can say about entrepreneurship, me as Jarvis. I want to thank the Transformational Professionals Club. Carol, for the next page. I want to thank the Transformational Professionals Club for this opportunity and platform. Thank you so much, Coach Samuel, and the entire team for organizing such a meaningful session, for giving me a platform to share my experiences. I want to thank each and everyone that has joined us today in this session. And I hope what I've shared inspires you to take that next step in your journey. That is my honest story. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, Jervis. Everyone join me in saying thank you to Jervis for the great presentation. Indeed, the teacher in you came through as we are trying to progress through the presentation. So well done, and keep up with that. Your session was insightful, well planned, and I believe that there are a lot of insights that have been picked. So at this point in time, we'll move to the Q&A question for people to be able to ask some questions. And if you want to ask the question, you raise up your hand, and then I'll give you an opportunity to be able to ask a question. Okay, as we get people come through, for me, Jeff, I want to say thank you so much. I know that a lot of people, so if you were to advise somebody who is employed but doesn't feel the guts of waking up every day to that kind of job, and one, they're afraid of how to manage the transition, especially on the aspect of finances, because the transition, the customers may not show up immediately. Could you just share on how maybe your lessons, what such somebody can be able to do so that they can be able to make that transition?
Okay, thank you so much, Samuel. For someone who is at their job and they want to start up a business or to transition out, what I can say is don't test the depth of water with both legs, just as the saying goes. First of all, start up have this idea executed. What I mean by executed, if you're going to start up your business, register it. If you register, for those who are in the consulting business, register it, have it legally registered with you, and then start with it as a side hustle. What I mean by side hustle, maintain your main job because you need money. Don't dive in that side fully right away. First, observe those trends and how you're able to observe the trends. Keep your records, your revenue records well tracked. See, is this money able to sustain you through? Personally, when I was still at my job and then got this idea starting to work, what made me decide fully to leave and concentrate 100%, I had reached that point whereby the clientele base that I had and the revenue that I was getting, it was able to sustain me. I felt it would sustain me through, irrespective of whether I got a monthly income or not. I would get one client who would pay, maybe I'll not give the figures, but I knew this amount of money can run me in the next 3 months, even if I didn't get a client along the way. So that money, when I received it, I had to have financial discipline. Trust me, I went away from this habit of whereby someone calls me for 20K urgently, 50K urgently. I now started operating on a budget because I knew I had to live within this particular revenue that I had got until maybe I could meet my next client. So for someone who wants to transition, first observe the trends of your business before you dive in fully. But keep following up your business. Don't be a type who's going to start a business and leave it in the hands of others. Be part of your business. Most people who are in employment, you have weekends, those public holidays, the after work. Be there, keep in touch with your team, keep in touch and keep knowing what is happening until you reach that point whereby you are sure that this business, even if I didn't get my next client in the next 3 months, I can sustain through. That's the advice I can give. Thank you, Samuel.
All right, thank you so much. There are quite a lot of questions coming through here. I think one of the questions that is in the chat box is okay, this is Amos, who says, how did you handle the moments of self-doubt while transitioning when leaving employment to start your consulting business?
Okay, thank you. So this self-doubt, it will always be there. You will never feel you can do it. And I want to assure you that even today, when I get a big project, I first doubt whether I will manage it. What am I trying to tell you? This is going to be part of you. That fear will always be there. But your zeal and determination to overcome that fear is what matters most. Personally, how I managed this self-doubt was I looked at my other passion. I had a passion. I would say that has always been the foundation of everything that I've done. I'm so passionate in agriculture, and I'm so passionate about impacting on the life of a farmer. So even at times when I feel I'm doubting, I will stick to my passion. I'll tell myself, Jarvis, I can do it. I want to tell you, the people whom I would say that we expect to give us the assurance, they instead don't. I want to be so honest with you that on ground, the people we have and the community around us is more negative than positive. Once you share out that idea, people look at the problems, the risks associated with it, but they never look at the other side of the coin. Train your mindset to always look at the what if it works. Okay, I think we always usually focus on the risks. And that's why someone one time said, the educated people, we have paralysis of analysis. You will go downtown here in Chikubo, someone who didn't study at all. They will go start up a business without any clear formula and the things are working. Then you who is educated, you're analyzing. And the problem is when we are analyzing, we are only analyzing risks and problems. We never look at the side of what if it works. But when you take up that leap of faith and you start working, that doubt will start going away. As you gain experience, as you take on those different challenges every day, because for me in the consultancy, each client comes with a different challenge on table, with a different task on table. As you execute these challenges and these tasks, you're going to start getting that confidence. And also, get mentors. I have mentors. Starting up a consulting business at 26, honestly, I needed mentors. And mentors, I didn't have family as my mentors. I got people who were into the same business like me as my mentors. I approached them and I keep approaching them over and over whenever I feel I'm getting down. So you will need these mentors on your way. That's what I can advise.
Oh, great, Jarvis. Since you've mentioned something to do with mentors, there's a question very similar from Amos around the mentorship. How I think was saying how he can get mentors, like the way you've mentioned. You can try to highlight something around it. I would like you also to just share how you were able to get into the MI opportunity as well, because as the TPC, we also would like to see how the connections have also impacted your journey.
Okay, thank you. Amos, what I can say about getting a mentor, you need to look at different factors. The field that you're going to work in or the business that you're going to work in. For me, I knew I'm going to go into agriculture and I was going to concentrate on farm accounting and the financial bit of it. The mentors that I looked out for were experienced consultants. The old generation, yes, there have been that trend whereby consultancy has been for the old generation. I got one of the people and I told them my vision. And good thing this person didn't demotivate me. She told me you can do it. And she held my hand along the way, sharing ideas of how I can keep approaching clients. And then I also got mentorship from the accounting side. From that, I got an auditor. I have that audit firm I did from my internship. I openly requested them to be my mentors. I requested them that I'll keep making this place my home because I knew to the field where I was going or where I'm going to keep working, there are going to be different tasks and challenges that I'm going to meet, and I'll always need assistance. So whenever I meet at an assignment that I'm not so sure about, I don't reject assignments when I know there are people I can collaborate with and we execute it. That is how it works. And then have a networking. It's a Coach Samuel. He saw me from the YouTube channel and he contacted me and we kept in touch. He contacted me, he said hi. And we are almost in the same field, I would say, of consultancy, business consultancy. I shared with him what I'm doing. And when I told him about agriculture, he shared with me an opportunity from the African Management Institute, whereby there is that opportunity to train and work with farmers as a certified agribusiness service provider. And when I enrolled with the African Management Institute, I met another group of people with like minds. What I want to tell you, when you're going to start up a business, you're not alone. You're not the only person starting it, and you're not the only person doing it. There are so many people of like minds doing the same thing with you. So you have to look out for them, collaborate with them. As I said, don't look at every person as your competitor. As the saying goes, the ocean is too big for us to all fish. So look at more of collaboration and partnershiping with people and networking with people. That's how you'll be able to manage through. Thank you.
All right, good to know that you've been able to move really far with the mentorship and networks. And I'm glad that the opportunity to train with Africa Management Institute is impacting you as well. That is very great. The reason why we created the Transformation Professionals Club is to create a platform where professionals can connect, learn together, grow and earn. And for me, being able to get that opportunity and share with Jervis and whatever she shares as her kind of success story from that training that is still running and opportunities and the networks. I think that's what happens. But one of the things that I also want to share that Jervis put herself out there. And at this point in time, I just want you to also just share, Jervis, your intention on building your personal brand, because definitely I didn't, when I was recommending you, I hadn't met you, but whatever you had put out there, either on YouTube or LinkedIn, gave me the confidence that you are a professional who can handle this. Could you just comment on how the power of the personal brand was key in growing your business?
Okay, thank you. Personal branding, what I can say is, as an entrepreneur, you should never be shy about your services. I want to assure you that there are going to be times where you're going to share your flyer and no one, or a flyer or a video or something, your service, and no one will comment about it. If you're a person who is shy about your own services, then you might not be able to go through this world. We are in an era whereby the world has completely gone digital. People are looking out for people who from different social media platforms. Get onto those different media platforms. Personally, I created up a YouTube channel mainly to inspire people. I keep sharing out my stories, my experiences, and letting people know what I do. On the LinkedIn page, I clearly outline what I do. I spell it out so well. And for any person, and actually for me, as a person who is in this consulting business, I came to realize that before a client signs that onboarding form, they first do a deep research about you. Actually, the deep research is not physical. They're going to look out for who are you exactly. So you should be out there on your different platforms. Use your social medias. Get away from this order by you're posting your pictures or something. Yes, I'm not meaning that get away from your personal life, but have those professional platforms and have for the LinkedIn, it allows you to even put something that is like a CV about you. My clients will always research about me before when they sign up that onboarding form. So personal branding, letting people know what exactly you are doing, it is going to be something that is so key and that is going to drive you to different opportunities. Don't be shy about it. Get yourself out there and speak about yourself and your services. That's what I can say.
All right, great. There's a question from the chat box here. I think it's from Vivian, who is asking about how do you balance the actual question. But as that comes through, one of the things that I also want to say is the starting small that you've shared is something that some people want to start big, so that affects them because they think the capital is what is limiting them. But when you embrace and know that you actually have an asset of what you know, and that can help you start. I usually say, maybe Jeffis, you'll just share with us how much capital did you start with? I think maybe people might want to just hear that you actually do not need a lot of money. You'll be able to comment on that. But Vivian's question is, how do you balance the demands of running a consulting business or startup with personal and professional responsibilities? I know you mentioned you're a parent, work here, school, and other things, and then you became the best student. Like, how do you balance? And that, I think, relates to Amos's question, where he asked about what are some of the personal habits and routines that have helped you remain focused and disciplined during your stage of your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay, thank you so much, Amos and Vivian.
Jervis, you're on mute.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. I was saying thank you so much for the questions, Vivian and Amos. You, Samuel, you've asked how much capital I started with. I would say, if I'm to say the capital I started with a computer. You can equate that laptop to a certain figure, maybe a normal computer. My phone, my smartphone. By then I had a Techno, by the way, and then registering the business. I think that was my startup capital. Then I started using my brain as my capital. So I would not say I had this particular amount of money as capital. No, that's how I started. For people that have asked how I've been able to balance, the truth is, When building something like a consulting business from scratch, it honestly brings burnout. You are thinking about the clients, the cash flows, the staff, the deadlines. You may be studying, you have a family. All these things weigh up onto you. What I can say personally, what I've done throughout the period, what has helped me to overcome a burnout, I have prioritized the rest. I take off breaks. I'll tell you something. I have my team of friends whom we usually call ourselves the girls squad. These girls, we arrange trips and just go, not expensive trips. We should just go somewhere just to relax off. To me, it helps me to get off from this whole burnout. And by the time I come back, I'm fully refreshed and ready to work. Then I have trained the habit of delegating and trusting my team. When you start up a business, you have to learn to delegate. You're not going to do each and everything alone. You might do this successfully at the start, but as the business grows, you'll have to trust your team and empower them. I delegate most of my activities and I supervise how they are being done. And then the other thing is I keep reconnecting with my why. Why did I start? Why am I here? What do I want? That vision and the main goal are the key driving factors. Whenever I feel like giving up or I feel like this is getting too much, I should have stayed in employment, I keep reconnecting with the why. And to me, my why was to come and impact and solve a few challenges that farmers were facing. And I am not about to stop until I have created a legacy of impacting on those farmers. And then I talk about stress with my friends, especially people in the same entrepreneurship world. When you talk about it, you are able to find solutions. As I told you, I have my mentors. I share with them freely and I'll tell them this is now too much. And I will advise you take a break here. You can do this way, change the approach. And then I take care of my health. I do exercises. People that know me, I'm small bodied, but I enrolled to the gym. That gym is not for me to cut weight. I enrolled in there to do exercises, do those aerobics. As I'm doing that, I am able to offload some stress. Trust me, that really works. As you do those exercises, there's a way that you offload stress and you're able now to come back fresh and ready to attack a new assignment. And being consistent and persistent, having it at the back of my mind that things will never be easy, there will be challenges. So I'm always ready to persist through. Even when hard times knock in, I persist through. That's what I can say.
All right. There was actually very similar question that was from Patricia on how did you overcome uncertainty and challenges while transitioning. And I think you've hinted on how you handle challenges. I don't know if you want to hint on how you handled uncertainty on that journey, just in case you want to mention that.
Okay, thank you. Different businesses have different uncertainties. For me, I would say the major uncertainty was that COVID-19 pandemic. I never ever thought it would ever happen, and it happened. And when we got there, everything was completely paused, and it all seemed like there will be no future. And at one point, I thought that should I maybe go back to employment? But my vision was, and remember the fact that I had looked for jobs and I was being rejected, I had made up my mind not to look for jobs again, but rather create jobs and give to other people. That's the mindset I had. So when even these uncertainties hit in, I am that was the biggest uncertainty I've met, because uncertainty is not planned. And when it comes to challenges, there are so many challenges you will meet, as I said. But every challenge, you should perceive it as a lesson to you. I remember at the start, I had clients, you'd offer services and they don't pay. Yes, I had also bad debtors. You've offered the services, you've put in your money, you've moved to the field, the rain has hit you from there, name it as, field work. And then this client, just because they see you're young to them, and they know there's nothing you can do to them, they deliberately choose not to pay. Yes, I met that. How I managed that, I created a system, an invoicing system, and contract signing. Any client, before I set off my foot or before my team leaves Kampala to go to wherever the consultants that are going to offer services, we sign contracts with clear terms and conditions, the client obligations and the consultant's obligations. And this also includes the payment, the terms of payment. And I put a percentage that you should pay before I set off to come to your farm. Yes, at the start, some of the clients were like, oh, this is too much. I can't pay 70% initially. But I insisted. This is a policy. I made up a company policy and a system. You pay 70% of the total invoice before we move. And once you set up a policy and stick to it, trust me, clients, if you're really offering services that are solving problems, as I said, and clients want your services, they will follow that policy. So as I talk, I have that policy and I don't have bad debtors as I talk. That's out, because we sign a clear binding contract with proper terms and conditions, payment terms. You pay your initial 70% and the 30% upon delivery of the final report or whatever final deliverable that we agreed upon of what we are going to offer. And it is so clear. That's how I managed to meet. That was the biggest challenge that I met, and that's how I managed to overcome it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. We'll handle these last questions. There's a question from Vivian. I think this is now for people who wouldn't want to leave their job, would want to explore entrepreneurial ideas while maintaining the job. What are some of those tips that you can give them, especially that you did, especially in the first phase of your journey, because you mentioned you were doing teaching, you were doing quite a lot of other things as you did. And once it helped, once you knew that you could get money that could sustain you, you made the move. For somebody who is in employment and wants to pursue, let's say, consulting, what are some of those tips that you can give them?
Okay, thank you. The advice I would give is do something that you can control. What I mean by control is, if you're going to start up a business, like let me say you're going to sell products, you're going to open up a shop or a boutique, and you are thinking that your presence will not matter, trust me, the chances of this business not surviving is higher than its survival. Starting up a business that needs your full physical presence is not a good idea for someone who wants to remain in a job. We've seen so many people that have started up shops and all that. and the things have not worked out. They'll say my employee took up the money from the business. But if you want to maintain your job, then consultancy is the answer for you. With consultancy, you have full control over your business. Because look at it this way. If you're going to have a client coming on board, this client is going to contact you, meaning you're going to know what is going to be done. And then you will sign the agreement. And then if you have a team, because you want to maintain your job, then it will necessitate you to have a team that is going to help you in the execution. When you have a team, make your system in a way that you're fully in control of your business, in that you know what exactly is happening in your business. Otherwise, most businesses are collapsing because the business owners are not fully present. And once you're fully not present, you're not following up, it's going to error. And then the other thing that you can do is setting up systems. What we mean by systems, the records keeping, you can have those simple tools and templates whereby each and everything that is being done, all the transactions are being captured, even by your staff, and you be able to follow up. And then I would tell you, on the other hand, if you want to maintain your job and you know that, then you might need to hire a consultant to run your business on your behalf. Literally, that's what I'm doing for most of the farms. We are running and managing their farms on their behalf. So maybe you can look at that other route. Get someone, pay them, a professional, and let them manage your business on your behalf. Invest in and wait for the money out. That's what I can say.
All right. Thank you, Jervis, for that. As we get down to the end of the session, I know you had shared some of the work that you do. There are people here who might want to tap into your services. How can they find you? There are those that also would want maybe to seek mentorship. How can they find you? I know you're on LinkedIn under Jervis at Hura. But how can people find you, especially those that would want? There could be people who want to pursue farming that might, or they would want to recommend you as well.
Okay, thank you. Karum, I don't know whether you're able to share my last page, or I can read out my contact. My contact is +256 777 92 96 94. You can drop a WhatsApp on that number, and we shall schedule an appointment with you. My team is able to schedule appointments. Or you can send an email to atuhurajervis@gmail.com, or to our business email addresses legacy.agricultural.consultants@gmail.com. For those around Kampala, we are here at Ruvaga. We shall be in touch with you, and we are available. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Jervis. As we conclude, maybe one thing that I'll just ask you to share. I know there are people that want to pursue consulting as individuals. Basically, they call themselves consultants. And you who is now running a consultancy firm, why did you take the journey of building a consulting company rather than just being a consultant?
Okay, thank you. Most of the clients, truly to say, they trust a company name or a business name as compared to an individual. If you're thinking of coming into consultancy, some of the questions that the clients are going to ask you, even the questions that my clients would ask right from the start is, are you legally registered? That's number one. No one wants to deal with a person whereby they know they can give you their money and you run away and you're not traceable. So they'll ask, are you legally registered? Then for the high-end clients, now for me who's dealing with the commercial clients, they will ask, are you filing your taxes? Are you compliant? They don't want to deal with someone who is doing zigzag. So I had to get right away everything legally, file my taxes, have my business registered, and have it run as a company other than me as a person. Most of the clients out there, they feel more confident dealing with a company. To them, they believe that even if I'm not able to find Jarvis, I can trace for this legacy and find at least something about it. So they become more confident and trust your services, knowing that they're dealing with you who is compliant and you're also legally following up the laws of the country. So my advice to you, if you want to become a consultant and you're looking at it as a business that you want it to grow, you have to be compliant. You have to let it go. Yes, I know we fear the taxes. I know you fear all that. You'll be like, now I'm just starting. Why do I have to? You need to be compliant and then get the right advice. If you don't know the taxes, you can get the tax consultants. Yes, we are here. We can help you. Yes, there's so many windows that you can use. Don't be lied to that when you start up this business, you're going to pay taxes right away. Those are lies. The taxes in Uganda, they have an act of whereby you pay your tax on profit. And so if your business is starting, it's very clear that you're not going to start in profits. And the beauty is in this recent amendment, they have allowed startups for 3 years an exemption of taxes. So there is literally nothing that should scare you off. Get out there, operate legally, and be compliant. People want to deal with people who are compliant with the laws and regulations. That's what I can say.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I know that people are taking notes. There's one thing that I could say that your session has been very insightful. You brought up the insights very well. Well done on that. I know you have a YouTube channel. Friends, I encourage you to subscribe to Jarvis's YouTube channel. She gets into the story even in detail. So look for her on YouTube. This session has also been recorded. You can find it on our channel. That's the Transformation Professionals Club. The Transformation Professionals Club handles quite a lot of programs. We always meet every Friday for sessions like this one, and we are glad that this has been insightful. We also have other programs that we are running. We have an upcoming public speaking and communication skills mentorship program. I'm glad that our speaker today demonstrates a great public speaker, and many people would really love to speak with such confidence and eloquency. And so we have programs that are targeted to helping you. So we have a program that's starting on the 5th of November. You can be able to check it out. I've also shared the link to our WhatsApp group in case you're on this call and this is your first time joining through. You can fill in that registration form that I've shared through the link in the chat box. Join in such that you can be aware of our trainings as and when they happen, including these weekly webinars. So that is what I can really say. So in case you're interested to be part of the mentorship training, I'm also going to just share again the flyer within our WhatsApp group. You can be able to access it there and check it out and see how you can be part of something great. We have even one of our mentors here, David Asanga, who really be part of those that will lead the session. Last time we were here, and we really had a great time learning on that journey. So that is one thing I wanted to share. At this point in time, I want to there's no any other question. I think that maybe that is coming through, but also because of time, I'll request Jarvis to just share her closing remarks to the audience.
Thank you so much, Samuel. I would like to appreciate everyone for being here. Thank you for being such an amazing audience. And for TPC, thank you for the platform. And what I can tell you as we close off is don't be scared to execute your idea. Don't underlook yourself. You might be young, whatsoever the age, don't underlook yourself. Don't feel shy. Try it out. Go and execute that idea. Have a mindset of what if it works. And truly, it can work. Have that determination and have the focus. Yes, the hard times will come, but they will shape you into a better person. Persist on, and you have all this. You can do it. If I did it at such an age when I had no connection, don't be lied to by all these things of you need connections, you need a lot of capital. No. Get against those odds, get in there, and you can do it. It can work out. Just look for something that is, get a service that is solving a problem. Start by identifying a particular problem. Don't be a type who is going to follow trends. Identify a particular problem, then use your strength and see how you solve that problem. Trust me, people out there are willing to pay for problem solvers, and they will pay the amount that you will put on that invoice. All I can say is I wish you the best in your endeavors, and we shall keep in touch. Thank you so much, each and everyone. Have a blessed evening.
All right. Thank you so much, Jarvis, for those closing remarks. And I believe that we picked one or two things here. Why do we bring such resourceful people? Like I mentioned, there could be somebody here. They have a lot of experience or knowledge that they have gathered over time, but their mindset is still around looking for a job. Now, what Jarvis has shared with us is it is actually possible that you can actually use your knowledge to be able to create an income. And she has shared with you some of the tips, including personal branding, including now public speaking I've just shared, because as a consultant, it's very important that you can express your ideas, you can be able to speak confidently. One of the things that I would tell you that if it wasn't Jarvis's YouTube channel where she shares part of her story, she would not be part of this session, because it's from there that we thought she had a great story. So what could be that great story that you're sitting on that you do not want to share to the world? What is that knowledge that you've acquired? Jarvis started by sharing just her CPA journey. There's something that you have gained over and over time that could actually bring you an income or could help you build a brand that could elevate you to the next level. So I encourage you, either you have a job, just like Jarvis, myself, I'm employed, but I'm able to run different things on the side. The same thing also, even if you want to transition, consultancy is one of the easiest things to start. I'll tell you that Jarvis started with a laptop, but you do not even, the laptop is not even a limiting factor, because your phone is the starting point. Now, one of the things that I've learned, especially around consultants, is one consulting engagement creates business for another consulting engagement. Because even whoever wants to give you consulting as an engagement or a business, they will ask themselves, have you done this before? So that is what happens. So there are times where you're going to volunteer. There are times where you're just going to share that video on YouTube to guide people. I know sometimes people say, but if I go to YouTube and share my knowledge, what will people reach out? I want to tell you that even as you've seen James come here, share with us for the last 2 hours, whatever she's sharing, she's creating a brand. Because from this, when you now hear someone who needs an agricultural consultant, somehow, somewhere, Jeff's name is going to come to your brain. That is what happened. Be intentional, show up, because, but those that are able to showcase their visibility are those that are able to stand out of the crowd. So as you can through this session, I would love you to share your takeaway. Those that are in the WhatsApp group, I've shared some screenshots onto the WhatsApp group about the session. Feel free to share about the Transformation Professionals Club. Let us keep this as a culture of sharing knowledge and helping each other. And before you know it, we'll be moving ahead and great things will actually be happening. And I want to tell you that even as we continue to the future is really uncertain. Even for the entrepreneurship that we're asking about the uncertainty, it's not, even employment itself where we are is not a safe ground. Why? Because there's a lot that is happening. AI is coming through and quite a lot of things. So I encourage you to be sorry, I'd gone off, but I just want to appreciate each one of you for coming through the session. Thank you so much. And in case you need support, especially on your journey of consulting, please feel free to reach out. One of the things that we do as the Transformation Professionals Club is to help professionals who would like to transition, but also professionals that would like to grow their income through multiple income streams. So in case this is a line where you want to get into, most of us have a lot of years of experience in this field. So you'll be helped in how to navigate. And that is the power of mentorship that Javis shared. Feel free to reach out and we'll be able to help you accordingly. I want to end the session here and wish you the best in the rest of the evening. And to those that would like to be part of our WhatsApp group, like I mentioned, this is your first time being part of our programs. I shared the link in the chat box that you can click on such that you can be part of us. In case you're not able to see that, you can be able to find us on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search for Transformation Professionals Club or search for Coach Samuel Ivanda. You'll be able to see even our previous sessions. And myself, you can also find me on LinkedIn. Look for Coach Samuel Ivanda. We'll be able to connect and see how we can help you grow and become the person that you really want to be. Otherwise, wish you all the best. Bye-bye.